Today in the shop, we've got quite a challenge ahead of us. It's officially winter here in Lancaster, and we've had our first snowfall. This vehicle is in for a ceramic coating, and the customer, when he dropped it off, said it's not too dirty. Yeah, this is going to be a challenge, considering temperatures aren't supposed to reach above 25 degrees, and with the wind chill, it's actually in the single digits. Today's detail might be more of a challenge for us. Fortunately, it's a new vehicle. Hopefully we don't have much paint correction we have to do, but that's to be assessed after we give it a good wash, if we can give it a good wash. Oh my gosh, it is so cold outside. It's actually 3 degrees outside with the wind chill. This vehicle is actually a brand new 2026 Chevy Silverado. This is for a family friend of ours, and it's his first time having a new vehicle. And what happens when you buy a new vehicle? Well, typically you become a detailing enthusiast because you start doing research saying, how do I take care of this truck or this car that I just bought? What's the best soap? What's the best wash mitt drying towel? What's the best anything? And you go down the rabbit hole of YouTube detailing, trying to figure out the best products. Now, if you don't get suckered into buying the dealership ceramic coatings, which normally is just some paper and maybe a subpar spray coating, you'll actually contact a professional detailer like me and say, what is a coating? How do I maintain it? What are my options? How much is this going to cost? And I go over all of those options whenever I do a consultation with my customer. Now, typically, I ask a few questions. One, how's the vehicle maintained, or how do you plan on maintaining it? If you go through the automatic car wash as your only way of maintaining it, I might discourage you from getting a ceramic coating. Now, this customer is hoping to maintain this a little bit more safely. We actually did have a lengthy conversation about how to maintain a vehicle safely and how to maintain a ceramic coating to get the most out of it. Those are two very important things that you want to look for from a professional detailer. You don't want to just call someone and say, give me a coating, they put it on there, and they don't go over any education. Coatings do make maintenance easier, but there is a maintenance that is recommended to get the most out of it. If you abuse it, it's not going to perform. If you neglect it, it's not going to perform. So yes, maintenance is easier, but there is still maintenance with a ceramic coating to get the most out of your investment. Secondly, a detailer should go over what are your expectations? How long are you expecting this to last? How is the vehicle stored? What are you planning on using the vehicle for? If it's a work truck, maybe we don't need to talk 5 years because you're probably going to pick up some scratches and some damage to paint that you're going to want to polish out. Polishing removes coating, so why put a 5-year, 10-year coating on a vehicle that in maybe a year or two you're going to want to polish and reapply? That's a waste of your investment. So because this is a truck, he plans on using it like a truck. He goes hunting, he has 2 kids, he has a dog. We're going to pick up some love marks over the years. He realistically is saying, if I can get 1 to 2 years of protection, easier maintenance, that's more realistic. So we're actually giving him kind of a 2+ year coating. Hopefully this coating is going to perform longer than that for him if he maintains it properly. But realistically, if he doesn't, he's not out the investment. So today what we're going to be doing was we're going to demonstrate for you guys prep application for V2 of our 3-year graphene ceramic coating from DIY Detail. And then hopefully every 6 months, this customer is going to be bringing his vehicle in for us to do a ceramic coating maintenance wash. We're also going to share with you guys updates on how this coating is performing in the real world. Since it's below freezing outside, I can't wash it outdoors. So we're going to pull it in the garage, get the heat cranking, try to get all the snow and ice melted off the vehicle. And I don't have access to free-flowing water here in my garage, and I don't have a drain in the floor. So we're going to have to get a little creative getting all of this dirt off the vehicle safely. We do have this vehicle for 2 days. We're probably just going to wash it, decontaminate it today. We can polish it and apply the ceramic coating tomorrow, because this coating only needs 1 hour to cure before you release it, and our paint enhancement shouldn't take that much time. Obviously, we'll gauge the condition of the paint after doing our decontamination just to see what we need to do. We're gonna make a big old mess in here, which is fine. I've got my wet dry vac. We can suck all that up. And this containment mat, you can see we are edge to edge with this truck on the containment mat. So our front and our butt might get a little bit sloppier, but this truck fits nicely on the containment mat. So even if I were to use something of this size for my husband's truck, if we get snow and things like that, just for reference size, you can see the SUV truck size does fit a regular crew cab truck. Now the best way to go after all of the dirt on the vehicle is to chemically remove it. First up, we're testing out Chemex's Eagle Guard. This is their salt neutralizer. We're going to mix this up in a spray bottle to pre-treat our panels. We're also going to do heavy duty in our IK foamer to do our tires and wheels. We also have Preludio from Labo Cosmetica in a rechargeable foamer to pre-treat before we do our rinseless wash. And we're also using DIY Detail, their rinseless wash, in our buckets and our detailing keg. Now the battery pack that was on my IK foamer broke, so we're going to pump everything up with our Ryobi digital bike pump and get everything set up to pressure, but that doesn't look good. So the detailing keg is out of commission. It is leaking like a leaky faucet. We've got a bad connection, so we're going to have to revisit that. Thank God I have the Fanttik spare. Ooh, I forgot that I had this. I bought it for this detail. I hate ADHD and that I completely forgot about this, but I'm so thankful that I remembered. Seriously, this wasn't planned, guys. This is just how bad my ADHD is. We've got the Fanttik NB8 Fold Ultra Compact Powerful Spring on the Go. I've heard if you buy one Fanttik product, you normally end up buying all of them. And unfortunately, it's true for me. Ed, I have you to blame for this. But we're gonna actually set this up, and maybe this will replace my detailing keg that I won't need it, because it has been problematic for me the last year. The quick disconnects rusted out on me. I just don't use it as frequently. I only use it in the winter time. So maybe this is a better option for someone like me or like you. And the detailing keg, it's heavy. You have to lug it around. So let's see if this portable pressure washer can actually help. Please, Jesus. All their stuff that I've worked with them from so far seems pretty easy to set up. Okay, don't break it. We got a little bottle. This is our spray gun. Looks like we have a tube if we want to pre-spray, or like have like a little quasi foam cannon. Okay, this expands. And it looks like we charge it here. This goes here. Okay. So it's not so big that I feel like I'm gonna hurt my back carrying it around. Just put this on and then turn. So you have 0 degree nozzle. Looks like you have 20 degrees angled, 40 degrees wide. And then if you want to use your foam, you can foam it on. But basically you have your pump down at the bottom. We do have a lid. It's not necessarily watertight, so just keep that in mind. I don't know if we're gonna use this today, but we will keep it. So to turn it on, you basically hit this power button. So we have it on the tire setting. This is our 20 degree tip. Okay, I love that. And I think it's better than the pressure washer from the detailing keg. That is really nice force. It is smooth. This is actually very comfortable in my hand. I'm gonna back you guys up a little bit. Really nice to blast out wheel wells and all of the salt and debris that's within them. We might go through water faster. I'm not mad at that though. We've got a way to catch it and clean it up. So thank you, Jesus. I love this Fanttik sprayer. Before I even try to clean the wheels and the wheel wells, we're gonna hit them with our heavy duty, scrub our tires down, and rinse everything off just to get a bulk of the dirt. I think I want just water in this. I had just put the rinseless wash that was in the detailing keg in the Fanttik sprayer, but I think I just want pure water. I think it's gonna be easier for me to see through the residue. Yeah, I think I just want water in there. Heavy Duty did a great job at knocking down a bulk of the dirt. Now I wanted to see and compare it to Wise Guy to see how much browning was left on our tires, and we still had a good bit of browning. So we're going to use our Heavy Duty to kind of pre-treat and our Wise Guy to dial in tires and wheels. We're using various microfiber tools just to gently clean all of those surfaces, and then we'll give it a good rinse. And I am absolutely ecstatic to have a way to deep clean extremely heavily soiled tires and wheels
get it done safely, get it done quickly, contain the mess, clean up the mess. For those of you that maybe you're like me, looking for a great way to deep clean heavily soiled vehicles, this sprayer is a godsend. When the customer had dropped his vehicle off, I knew we had salt on the vehicle, but I didn't realize how much sand he had in his wheel wells because he had actually been on a hunting trip to Iowa and they had a ton of sand roads out there. And so this sprayer was so great at blasting out all of the heavy sand and getting everything nice and clean. Now that I found a solution for tires and wheels, we're going to test out which chemical or maybe combination of chemicals is best suited to handle all of the dirt and salt on the panels.
This is just Preludio, and then we're gonna take our salt neutralizer, and then we're gonna top it with our Preludio. Not the way that Bob or even Labo probably is like designing it. We're just experimenting. Okay.
So can I just tell you, to actually be able to pressure wash my customers' vehicles inside of the garage and contain it, it's a little terrifying. I'm not sure what I'm getting myself into because as I'm rinsing this off, I'm realizing that's a lot more dirt and mess than I originally realized. Rinseless washes can handle quite a bit more dirt than people realize, but when it comes to sand, it makes me a little nervous. So I'm glad I have found a way to pre-treat and to spray all the heavier dirt off of the vehicle. Now, this is working out great, but it does have its limitations. And as we detail this winter, we're going to continue to test out different tools to see how we can get this as efficient and quick as possible. So make sure you guys follow along.
So we've given these panels a few minutes just to dry in the heat, and you can see the salt. And what I didn't actually realize is we have a ton of sand all over this vehicle, whether they pre-treated back roads with sand where they were driving. I am so thankful to have the capability to pre-rinse and to pressure wash in the garage. Yeah, it's adding a little bit of time, but it is well worth it because the time I might be spending cleaning up water, I'm not having to spend that doing paint correction, potentially damaging the paint. But as these products have kind of air dried, I can see that this panel looks cleaner. Where we did our combination of our Eagle Guard and Preludio, I think we were actually almost able to touchless clean. You can see there's not a lot of like splatter on our panels over here. It just looks like either that's chemical or that's just some of our salt residue that has been left behind. I think the combination of the two is going to give us more cleaning capabilities, neutralizing of our salt obviously, but it's just going to be safer on the paint. So moving forward, we're going to pre-treat everything with our Eagle Guard, even our wheels, our wheel wells, just to try to help get some of that salt off. And I think this will just help me to work cleaner and safer. So really enjoying Eagle Guard. If you're up north like me, dealing with road salts, highly encourage you guys, grab a bottle. Can make cleaning vehicles so much better and effective. And our Preludio, obviously one of the best when it comes to pre-rinsing for a rinseless wash, to give you more detergency, more cleaning capabilities, and to just be safer all around.
Now, some of you might be wondering, can I use a higher pH soap as a foaming pre-soak versus Preludio alkaline? Sure you can, but with soap, obviously you're gonna have more residue. With Preludio alkaline, you have way less residue that you have to chase, so it's just gonna work more efficiently when you're doing a rinseless wash. Now, even though this is a rinseless wash, that doesn't mean we first can't do a pre-wash. And oftentimes when you're dealing with heavier soiling on a vehicle, you want to do a pre-rinse before you do your rinseless wash. That's just going to make the rinseless wash safer. I know sometimes people get confused by the terminology rinseless wash. That doesn't mean we don't rinse the vehicle. That just means after we put our rinseless wash on the vehicle, we're not rinsing that off, but you can still do a pre-rinse before you do a rinseless wash, if that makes sense. Now at this point, I haven't even made contact with the paint and it already looks clean, thanks to using proper detergents like our Eagle Guard and Preludio alkaline and doing a proper high pressure rinse. Now we do have a lot of mess that we have to clean up on this containment mat, but honestly, it's worth it for me to take this extra time to clean up all of that slop and to pre-treat with proper chemicals. So that way, one, I don't have to spend as much time on our paint correction, and two, I don't have to be as aggressive on the paint. We don't have to do this every single time if the vehicle doesn't have this level of dirt, But I actually have a 9-gallon DeWalt Stelsonic wet dry vac, and I filled this up 2 times. That's just how much water we used for our pre-rinse on this vehicle. Now, my only issue with the Fanttik pressure washer was that it didn't come fully charged out of the box. I know, first world problems, right? It only had 2 bars of power on it, and I needed it immediately out of the box, so I didn't have time to actually fully charge it, and you can't use it while it's being charged. So I would recommend, if you're going to use this, make sure you fully charge it the first time before you use it, so that way you have more than enough juice to do the vehicle. I've actually seen reviews where they say that once it's fully charged, they're actually impressed with the amount of battery on it. But for me, I learned that you need to fully charge it before you use it. Fortunately, we did have the Fanttik sprayer on the go to be able to finish the job, but I did have limitations with this as far as constantly needing to fill it up. I would like to see it hold a little bit more water. So based on a recommendation of my friend Keeve, I went ahead and actually purchased the Sunjo portable pressure washer that actually holds up to 5 gallons of water. So we're gonna compare these 2 units in a video very soon. But stay tuned, because this winter we're supposed to have a lot of snow here in Pennsylvania, and we're going to be testing out different tools and chemicals to try to figure out how we can make cleaning vehicles safer, more efficient in the garage when we're dealing with freezing cold temperatures. I think we are on the right track. My goal now is to try to speed this process up and make it as efficient as possible. Trying to figure out new chemicals and also working with new tools, it took almost 4 hours from start to finish. I know I can make this faster and more efficient. But now that we've gotten a majority of the dirt off the vehicle, I feel way more comfortable doing a rinseless wash, clay towel treatment, iron remover treatment. We were able to get that done in our normal time, which was about 30 minutes from start to finish. Now we can come in and inspect the paint. Now this paint has a little bit more damage than I had originally anticipated. Because before we even washed it, we were able to get a majority of the dirt off. I'm seeing more damage on this than I would think just from our contact wash. And I actually did figure out that the customer used a snow brush on the vehicle, and that ended up causing a good bit of damage that we now have to polish out.
We got our tires dressed. We're gonna start paint correction and then apply our ceramic coating. I'm allotting 2 hours for polishing, 2 hours for our ceramic coating. Hopefully we'll be able to get it done shorter than that. And then an hour or 2 for the coating to cure before we call the customer and have them come pick it up. So I'm trying to get a majority of the busy work done, because once the coating is applied, essentially we're an hour away from the customer coming to pick it up. So all we have to do, polish, coat, glass, we're done. So hopefully we'll be done in 5 hours, but let's see how quickly we can get this paint polished.
Because our side panels had a little bit more damage on them than the roof and the hood, we did the yellow foam pad on the roof and the hood, and that pretty much gave us 90% correction. On our side panels, we did end up doing that 1.5 step with a blue foam pad from Lake Country, and then we used an orange foam pad afterwards. The white didn't give us quite as much of a finish that we wanted. An orange foam pad actually was able to remove the micro marring from the blue foam pad a little bit better, and basically gave us 95% correction on our side panels. Even though this is a 1-month-old truck, paint that is soft, and when we have more damage just from maybe running up against trees or from just people touching it when it's dirty, you can pick up some damage. You don't necessarily need to have paint perfection, but since we're locking it in and it's pretty easy for us to get decent correction with these steps, we're going to try to get as much correction as possible, but we're not chasing paint perfection. Otherwise, that would have probably been a 3-step. Now, I know that I'm a content creator, and by default, that makes me an influencer. But I'm actually just as easily influenced as you guys are, especially by Adam Zirin from Drago's Detailing. He reviewed this on his channel recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need something like that. I do have 2 detailing carts from the Keys 37, and they've pretty much become countertops for me, but they cannot collapse, and they're big, and they kind of sit off to the side. When I need this though, I can just collapse it, put it up against the wall, but I can use this to detail vehicles with, put coating applicators and towels with. For those of you that need a compact way to get tools and chemicals around a vehicle while you detail, I'll put the link for it down below. But this is the new packaging for the V2 DIY Detail 3-year ceramic coating. We're gonna go ahead and give this a good shake and get set up to get this applied. What's new with V2? Well, first off, you have no PFAs within this, so it's gonna be safe for you and for the environment. Secondly,
You can get this wet within an hour, same as before, but you can actually wash it within 3 days. So after 3 days, you can use our Incredible Suds soap, the rinseless wash, the waterless wash. That's one of the things my customers hate the most. You spend all this money to get your vehicle pretty much perfected, and it's heavy pollen season or dirty, and you want to wash it. You want to see the benefits of the ceramic coating. Well, now after 3 days, you can wash it. With this coating, you also have instant bond technology. So you don't have to let it sit for 1 to 2 minutes. You can apply and instantly level. You can let it sit if you want to do maybe 1 or 2 panels, but why? If we can apply to one section and immediately level, that's fantastic, because then I can just work very quickly around the vehicle. So we're gonna prime it with about 6 to 8 drops. That's more than enough. After this is primed, we only need about 1 to 2 drops. We're just gonna kind of work it into our applicator, 1 or 2 drops, okay? That way we don't, oh, we still have that squeaky sound. Outline, and then do semicircles. Okay, and then we can come in. We're just gonna do one tile, and I can see we've got some rainbowing. And that gonna be easier. Super slick. You can actually, like, you can feel immediate. Squeaky clean. So very impressed. The 3-year was my favorite coating out of the 3 coatings from DIY Detail, and I was nervous that they took that ease of application away by making it more chemically resistant, more durable. Happy to see we did not. Now we still have to use these applicators. We're gonna figure out how much coating we need. So we're gonna outline. What's really the only great thing about these applicators is that they kind of ensure that you don't go crazy with product. You'll find that you go through less product with these applicators. So we're just gonna give this maybe 10 seconds or so. You can see it's almost flashing off. I may not actually be able to show you guys too much of this on camera because it is all but evaporating within about 10 seconds. Now we do have the heat blowing right on this, but super easy. I'm not seeing any streaks, any spots. We're gonna get our light. Nothing, crystal clear. So personally, I'm a huge fan of this application. If we can get the durability where it needs to be, and the application is this effortless, this right here could very well be the only coating you need if it can actually last 2 to 3 years. I was a little disappointed that V1 only lasted almost a year on my vehicle. Now we didn't top it. It was right behind a wheel well. It gets a lot more abuse from film and things like that, but it did fail at 12 months. So we didn't even get to 3 years. This is supposed to be more durable. The customer realistically is saying they only want 12 months. So if we get what we had with V1 with V2, customer's not going to be disappointed because we were very transparent with them about what we were putting on here. If it does last 2 to 3 years, it's to their benefit. We kind of priced this at a 12-month option. When you've got a huge vehicle of this size, it can be daunting applying a ceramic coating. Thankfully, we've got a really user-friendly coating to work with that I think we should be able to get this done about an hour and a half, if not less than that. So we're gonna set a timer, turn on some music, pace ourselves, and get this done. But we're gonna work section by section versus panel by panel. We will probably just make sure our sections are consistent, so that way I know I did this part, this part, this part, and just maybe break them into smaller sections so I can keep track of it. But I think we're gonna be able to work pretty quickly once we get the roof, the hood, the front grille, the back grille done. Easy parts are gonna be these sides. Let's go ahead and do it.
I think the biggest difference with our V2 versus the first version is that the solvent carriers with this, they felt different. I wasn't able to apply it to as big of a section like I was with V1, and we also had that faster flash time. But that doesn't mean that it's difficult, it just means work in a smaller section and level immediately. Now with this coating, it is a rainbowing coating. And so you're clearly gonna be able to see, especially on a color like this or piano trim pieces, that flash of the coating. And I could almost see it flash and immediately evaporate within 15 seconds. Now with a softbox light, that's going to help you be able to identify any residue left behind to avoid any sort of high spots. We did have one high spot the morning after on a section of glass. I did try reapplying fresh coating to it to reactivate it, and unfortunately it didn't budge it, but we were able to polish it off using the C6 App Polish very quickly and easily. Just put a drop on a microfiber, massage it in, and our high spot was gone. So I was extremely happy with how easy this went on and with the end results.
So it took an hour, but we are all done. And honestly, for a vehicle of this size with this many intricate pieces, that's actually pretty fast. Out of this entire bottle, it doesn't come full. 30 milliliters actually is probably around right here in a bottle of this size. We probably have about this much left. So I would say we could do a sedan size vehicle. Easily could get 2 sedans with 1 bottle. But application I found was extremely easy. Now, I did find that this isn't the coating that you want to let sit and do 2 sections. When they say you can work section by section instant bond, take advantage of that. It is a lot easier to level. We did have a few areas where when we let it sit on there too long, maybe we did have to come in and just kind of massage it because a majority of it actually evaporated in a 68-degree garage. So section by section, super easy. It was honestly a delight. Hopefully we're gonna see performance with this coating that is gonna exceed what we saw with V1. So V2, I'm coming for you. We're gonna be doing updates for you guys with this coating, hopefully as we see the vehicle, and share with you guys updates on how V2 is performing out in the real world. This is a truck used like a truck, parked outside. We're gonna let it sit overnight. The customer is actually picking it up in the morning, and then we're doing this all over again with his wife's vehicle. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next detail. Stay tuned for the final walk around, and we'll show you a quick peek of the hydrophobic spin. Thanks guys, see you soon.